I'm gonna give you some more, but I need to do what I got. Hello. Hi. How are you? Lion Flood here for you now. What's going on, everyone? Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for being here. I am going to work to do this more often. Let me just check. As I've been getting requests and feedback. So thank you for that. I love it because it helps me improve. And when I improve, I bring better information to you. So, really quick, a little bit about who I am and what I do and why I am here, right? So, Lion Flood is my name. I am a video content coach. And what I do is I help teach people how to look more professional on camera, right? I get to consult with you and help you in your virtual space. So I'm going to just kind of breeze through this series here, as this is just a kind of a generic, light introduction to some ways to look better on camera. It's not for anything advanced. So if you are someone who's knowledgeable and has all that information, hey, still would love for you to stay and kind of pick up some things and maybe even throw some ideas my way. But this is for people who are nervous to be on camera, don't know how to make their virtual space and presence look as good as they want. And so I'm here to give you some tips and tricks to help you along that way. Also, I love questions. I want them because that's the best way that you learn how to apply it for what you're doing. Please do not feel like you can wait to ask me questions at the end. I know some people say, wait to ask me. No, ask me. I've done this so much. You can ask me at any point, and I still can pick up my flow. It's not going to interrupt me. If you do put a question in the chat, do me a favor though. Put it in there like this: put a Q and then a colon, and then write your question. What that does is my system automatically separates comments and questions. So if you put a comment inside of the chat, but you want it as a question, I don't see it as that. So I go to all of the questions first. So Q, a colon, and then just write your question in there. Sounds good? Sounds great. All right. So I'm going to breeze through this because one of the feedbacks that I got, which I actually liked, is that I should slow down. And I'm loving it. I get excited about this information because it has the power to change so much stuff that you're doing online. So I get excited and I start talking a little fast and going. So I'm going to slow down. And with slowing down, I'm still going to do it within the same time frame. I've kind of narrowed some of the information down so we don't go through all of that. But real quick, let me jump in and show you and tell you who I am and why you should listen to me. Because I believe that if you're going to be on with a coach, with someone teaching you, a master class, or anything like that, then you should know why to listen to them, who they are, and what they're doing. Okay, so let's jump into that just a little bit, and then I'll tell you a little bit about my coaching style and why we should work together. Okay, so here we go. I am an alum of Full Sail University in Orlando, Florida. For those who know, Full Sail University is an art and design school. So that's where I get my knowledge from, plus real world action. Okay, I have been in television, on television, worked behind the cameras, done everything for 15 plus years, even longer than that. But I just counted 15 professional some odd years. My one and only thing that I work for is my family. Here's my son. He's a little bit older now, but at that point, he was one of those museum things where kids could see themselves as something. And I was telling him, check her temperature. And real funny story, he looked at me and said, Dad, you know she's not real, right? Oh, my spirit left my body. I was like, he's losing that innocence. Okay, he's losing that innocence. Let's jump a little bit farther ahead. Here I am hosting a podcast television show that I was a part of. As you can see, some of the audience. So I've been in television. I understand lighting, cameras, action, right? I understand all that stuff. So that is one of the main reasons why I say, hey, if you're going to listen to me, listen to someone who's been in it, done it, and is still doing it. not someone who just came up and said, "Hey, I can teach you all that stuff." They might can, but you know, as vets in the biz, as they say, very special. So we are going to run through this again and again. Questions, please give them up. Let's jump right into this here. This is my introduction to going live. Show up and show out. Reason why I say that is because when you are live, people, they are forgiving, right? If you make a mistake, they understand. That's live TV, it's live video streaming. They understand. So for anyone who's nervous, I automatically tell them go live. Trust me, it's a lot easier because you're going to record that same episode about 1,500 times saying it's not right. So we are going to show you how to spice up your live life. What is that? Your live life. My little play on words, right? Spice up your live life. And what you're going to walk away with today is we're going to talk lighting, camera placements, and background. And if we have enough time, I'll throw you a bonus at the end. The most important things, and I'm just relaxing today. I got the window open with the breeze, so got a little background. I don't normally don't do it, but actually, you know what? Let me do that really quick for you guys. Okay, so let's start off simply with effective lighting and your camera setup. You can have the absolute best, best camera in the world, and it could be fuzzy. Let's just say its quality isn't coming through. Maybe it's blurry, internet isn't coming through. People will still watch you. But if you do not have a camera setup that has effective lighting and audio, whew, you lost them. They're gone, right? So let's start off with something very, very simple inside this world. 3-point light setup. What does that mean? What does it look like? This. You are in the yellow. Okay? That's you sitting there talking to your camera that's right in front of you. You want to have a fill light. You want to have a key light, and I'll explain exactly what those are. And you want to have a backlight, right? You want to ensure good lighting conditions. Natural light is absolutely great. It's oftentimes the best. But if that's not possible, you need to invest in soft, diffuse lighting sources. And I'll explain to you a little bit of what they are and why natural light is great, but it's not always the best at certain points. So, for an example, to my right over here, that thing, I have natural lighting. There's a window there. I got the blinds closed now, but you want to be conscious of the time of day, for an example. If you've got lighting over here, maybe that sun starts to move and come towards this way. Now, this side of the face that was bright is now shaded, right? So you want to be careful of that. Natural lighting is great though, it gives you that natural feel. Never, never, ever, I don't care what anyone tells you, never, ever, ever record with the sun or natural light behind you. It is not flattering. It does not look good, and it will make your camera lens darken the area that's around you. Okay, so I'm going to show you some lights here that I use, and when we talk about that, and we'll get back to 3-point lighting setup. So this here is an Elgato key light. Most streamers, most people who perform online, this is what they use, right? It has this soft diffusion thing. It's like a soft box, but it's very soft. You get to control the color temp, how strong, and everything else it goes. And I'm going to show you in a second why lighting is so important. But this one sits on a desktop, right? It has a stand. You can sit it right here and have it be right on your face. Okay, very simple, very easy. Now, if we look at this here and the key light and the backlight, let's talk about how strong they should be, right? What should be the percentages and all of that. Okay, here we go. Key lights, you want to have it at a 45-degree angle towards your camera. What's up, Neil? Hey, it's the same thing, Neil. I just do this again for everyone else, so I appreciate you very much for stopping in. Your backlight and your fill light, 50 to 75%. I'm going to show you an example of one of my old setup that has my lights and everything else like that as well. So I'm just going to breeze through this right here. And now let's talk camera position. Simply, camera should be a reasonable distance from what you're going to record, depending on your camera also, right? Some camera have wide, a tighter frame. We're not going to get into all of the, mirrorless and everything else like that. But beginning, you want to make sure you have your camera set up fairly simple. You want to position the camera eye level or slightly above the angle, generally most flattering, that creates a more engaging connection, right? My camera is set up above and at an angle just a little bit, right? So I'm looking into my teleprompter. Teleprompter is something I always would suggest for someone, again, a little bit more advanced, beginners. Hey, just get the camera on and hit record. Just that's where you're going to start at, right? If you're looking at the setup here, this was my old one. I still have the same basic format, but I have different equipment now. I only use two monitors, and my lights are still fairly the same. Right? You have Godex 45s instead of the key light that I was telling you about earlier from Elgato. Still great. I just wanted to upgrade. Right. One light is towards the side of my face. The other light is angled down to bring the camera angle down so you can see. My Sony is sit right above my desktop, and I then have my teleprompter in front of me. Okay. Simple, simple, simple. Jump into backgrounds. What is a background? Look at this right here and tell me how that makes you feel when you first see the emotions of it, right? It's simple, right? It's not a whole bunch of stuff. Their background is primarily a plant, the pictures that's there, and then the clock. You don't have to have all these virtual spaces. You want to actually use some natural feelings to it. People relate to that more because your house looks like their home, right? You can see the camera is approximately 2 to 3 feet in front of them, and then they have a monitor so they can see themselves. So those are always good. But you want to make sure you choose a clean, basically uncluttered background that doesn't distract from your presentation. If you got things moving in the back, it can distract people, and truly you just don't want that, right? Here's an example of one of my clients that we work with her. When you first see this, tell me, where does your eyes go, right? It goes to her face. That background that you see behind her, though, is not real. It is not virtual, but it's not real. It is, and I will show you an example of that. It is a canvas that we picked out, and it looks professional. She looks like she's in an office, but she's at home. Before, there were things behind, and it just was distracting. And now, when you first see this, your eyes go directly to her face. So that's very, very important. Okay. Take a look at my background. It is not virtual, and that is not a real wood wall that I'm sitting in front of. That is actually a canvas that I have up that's similar to hers. Those pictures, they are real. I hung those up on the wall, but it looks like I have a wood wall that I'm sitting in front of, right? So that's an example of that. Next, we're going to jump into body language. So important, and the expressiveness of your face, right? You don't want to just sit at a video camera talking to your people and you're just, so today we're going to talk about this subject, and it's just not conducive to what you want to get, and that is engagement, right? Ultimately, that's what it comes down to, engagement. So let's talk about it. The first thing we're going to get into is eye contact, and I'm going to show you a video of some different uh, people speaking, and you're going to see the difference in what I'm referring to, right? But make sure you look directly into the camera lens to create the impression of making eye contact. Connect with your audience. So, for an example, look at this, and let me show you, right? This is what most people end up doing, because you see the person's face at the monitor, which is down below me. And I'm looking at your face in a Zoom meeting or something, and it's just like this. And I'm talking to you, but you don't see that. You see me looking down. My brain says I'm looking at your face, but when I come up here, guess what? Eye contact right there. Eye contact. We making eye. So now you at least feel and give the impression that I'm making eye contact with you and I'm speaking to you. All right. So let's take a look at an example. Also before that, for anyone who has a laptop, I'm about to show you a teleprompter that you can actually use specifically for your laptop. If you do not have a DSLR camera or something of that nature, you can use this for your laptop. So check this out. This is one that one of my I suggested and one of my clients picked up. This is not theirs, but it's just an image that is found on Amazon that you can grab. Right. So basically, when you look at that screen, you are looking into your webcam, but it makes you look directly into there where you can still see their face or you can see something that's written on there if you want to do that as well. All right. Look at this screenshot right here and tell me what you see when we first look at that, right? He is looking at what? Not me, but he is. His brain is looking at the screen and he thinks he's looking at me. But look where his camera angle is at. So even if he wanted to have the screen under the camera, I always suggest that than having the screen to the side if you don't have the setup with the teleprompter, right? Because at least gives you the opportunity to look straight and then look down instead of looking like this. This is how it's looking. I'm looking at my monitor over here where your face is, but my camera is straight ahead, right? Now I'm going to show you how that looks in the video. So watch how this looks as we're talking. And if you notice, I'm looking directly into the camera where his face is. So let's take a look at this video. So you notice how he's speaking and talking now, and he's looking at my face, but look how this conversation looks and feels. It doesn't feel like there's any connection, any sincerity, anything like that. And that's because he didn't know, right? And so that's where these classes and these courses come into play. Just showing you these little small tips to help you grow and get more confident in your journey of being confident on camera. Okay. So that's a perfect example. You can see that. And that's how it looks when you're talking to someone in your Zoom meeting. They're seeing your face look down at the camera, the same way you're looking and feeling now, right? So you need to make sure you pay attention to that, right? Okay, eye position, right? Look at this inside one of our meetings. Everyone is looking down at the camera. Eye positioning is so important. You see me continuously still looking into the camera. That's because I'm using a teleprompter. I highly suggest it. If you're serious about advancing and getting better of being on camera, teleprompters are the way to go. You can do everything without it. I'm not telling you you absolutely need it, but it's the same thing as when you look at a news broadcast or something like that. They're looking into their teleprompters because it just creates a better connection and feel. Now look at the same thing from some people who took my course and look how they're looking, right? Into the camera, right? Look at the smiles, look at the direct feeling of knowing that you are being transcribed into the camera. So it's very, very important for you to do that. A little tip I'm going to give you now, in case you are wondering, do something like this. Take a post-it note, put it right where your webcam is at, and say, look here. So you don't have to fight your brain to say, where am I supposed to look? There's your post-it note, right? If you don't have a teleprompter and you need to just make sure you're looking, look there. I know you're going to fight to look down at the face that's on the monitor, but don't look there. All right. Let's talk facial gestures. Very, very important so you don't make someone think you're boring or boring them. You want to use a variety of expressions that tells your emotions, right? And making sure you're smiling at appropriate times. You don't want to smile when someone says a bad story or a sad story, right? Be pleasant, approachable. Use your hand gestures. I talk with my hands a lot. Guido. Purposefully, though, to emphasize points and add dynamisms to your presentations. Right? Take a look at this one here. As you can see, her face, now she's doing that overboard just to make a point. But watch this here. So this is kind of going back to encompassing all of the things I spoke of. Look at her eye contact, and then look at just the feel of this video. She's trying to make it to where she's on a cell phone that gives a little different kind of thing. That's fine. But then you would just be looking forward, right? I would be able to see your face, but look how this looks, right? Not appealing or anything like that, right? Voice and verbal skills. So important because you don't want to sound monotonous. You do not want to be Bueller, 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 right? You want to have that tonality, inflections. How do you do that? You work on your speaking clearly skills. Enunciate your words and speak at a moderate pace. Don't mumble, or don't speak too loud unless you have a microphone that kind of muffles that. But no, we won't get there. But you don't want to get too fast. And I am guilty of doing that occasionally because I get excited and I just get going with that information. I am learning as well. But it can make it difficult for the viewers to hear you, right? Especially if you're speaking low like this, or just speaking in a monotone voice, because then you got to make sure it fluctuates, but keep it to your personality. You don't want to not seem authentic, and we're going to touch on that a little bit later as well. Vary the tone. You want to use it to convey enthusiasm and keep the audience engaged, right? So I don't want to talk just like this, but I also want to come every once in a while and tell you about this new idea that I'm working on, right? See, even that was that pace and that tonality, right? So I want to make sure I tell you guys about this new idea that I'm working on, right? Tonality, right? Avoid speaking in a monotone voice. We've talked about that. It can be monotonous, it can be boring, and just put people to sleep. Emphasize. Do not rush through your content. Ding, 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 ding. So, but I know that I'm doing it, and that's one of the point. Once you know, now you can work on it. Like today, I told you right up front, I'm slowing down, so that making sure that this information gets put out there to you, right? Strategically, though, you want to allow your audience to absorb the information and emphasize those key points. If I'm giving you information that is important, I don't want to speed through it. Even though I said the information, your brain is not wrapping around it. Maybe you didn't have time to write it down. So if I know that information is important or a key point, I'm going to slow down and say, okay, pay close attention to this because this is absolutely important. Right? That's me leading into it. So I'm slowing my pace down and I'm getting it. Okay. A couple of bonus points I'm going to throw out there for you right here. We got bonus point A, and option B is you want to know your material. People say often that they're nervous to get on camera because they don't know what to say. They don't know if they're going to mess it up. Well, if you know what your material is, if you've done it for 3, 4, 5 years and you know how to say it backwards in your sleep, then you don't really worry about messing up. It's just your nerves of being on camera, then, not right. But you want to make sure you're prepared, knowledgeable about your content. Okay, people can tell if you're just making it up or winging it. Um, so that way you can be confident and it comes through from knowing the subject matter, right? You want to make sure you know exactly what you're talking about. Some best practices are to rehearse your presentations multiple times before recording. I'll tell you a tip of what I do um, before going live. It helps reduce nervousness and improves your delivery. Okay, so I'm going to come back here because this is important. I used to take magazine photos and cut them out, and I would put the pictures on a wall, okay, in different spots. So as I'm speaking, I'm making sure I'm looking at this magazine picture, that face, looking at this face, looking at that face. I would put one in the back, so as if I was in an auditorium, right, or on stage talking. So I did those little things. Someone may laugh and say, "Oh, I can't believe you did it," but it helped with my confidence. It made it so that I knew where to look and to go at, right? So a couple of those things, and be authentic. Just be yourself, genuine, be transparent, make sure everything's matching those expressions. You are more relatable and likable, right? People can tell, they can see through if you're not being who you are and doing what you say you would do. I tell people too, myself, hey, look, every once in a while, I coach on this, but every once in a while, I mess up too, and I get to talking fast, and it happens. The other day, I was doing a recording, and I pushed the wrong button on my Stream Deck, and it went to another scene that I wasn't supposed to be at. And I came back and I said, "Oops!" I said that wasn't supposed to happen, and it just kept on with the presentation. Right? It's going to happen. People understand. They're going to laugh with you. They're going to have fun. But if you make it seem like you're perfect, and they're not going to be relating to you. Okay, so that is it for today. I told you I was going to kind of crunch things down, make it fun, but make it enjoyable and engaging. And I'm looking forward to bringing this back to you again next week. I'm going to try to work on doing this weekly to give some tips out and tricks to new people who are coming through. So, hey, thank you all for taking the time, whether you're watching this on live. Great tips. Thanks very much. Hey, let me say something. Oh, no, we're not on Zoom. I thought I was going to do it on the Zoom, but that's cool. Hey, thanks, Neil. And I know I subscribe to yours and I follow yours, but I don't know if I get the updates when yours go live. I get them when they come through after they're posted, but maybe because you don't go live that often, right? I don't think so. Maybe I'll keep an eye out for it. So I want to make sure I jump on yours when I can. I was there for the Tatiana one and everything as well. But all right, thank you guys. Enjoy. I appreciate it, man. You guys have a nice day, and remember, keep on keeping on. Life Fly with the art of going live. I can't wait till the next time. Goodbye. Where's my super suit? Where is it at? Tell me where my suit is, woman. We are talking about the super suit. Oh gosh. Let me get out of here. I'm having too much fun. Straight out of